Who are you?
Whoa.
What's your name? Mark Garrigus. How are you? Hi. So,
People just want attention. Oh my God. People want attention so bad, bro.
still believe that they should be out.
Who are you? What's your name?
Mark.
People just want attention so bad. Do you feel good now? Do you feel good about yourself? When you drive home in the car in traffic and you're at a red light and you think about this moment, do you feel good about yourself? Or do you want to drive off the edge of the road? Like, come on. So if you guys have noticed, I've been gone for about 4 or 5 days, and that's obviously because I've been building a new rig, a new PC. This is kind of my forever PC. For the next 5 years, I don't see myself really upgrading from this. I can edit, I can do things in 4K, I can stream without problems. It's a beautiful thing. But during my time gone, ladies and gentlemen, I've been seeing a few things going on. And one of those is definitely the Eric and Lyle Menendez situation. It's no longer a trial because they've been in jail for over 30 years now, okay? And it kind of seems like every couple of decades or so, they come around into the news because they're trying to get out of jail. You know, they've gotten married. I've heard rumor that they have an adopted child. I didn't look that up. But, you know, they have families. Even the Menendez family themselves support the Lyle brothers. And it kind of seems like finally in the year 2025, they might have a chance of getting out of jail at ages 50, in the mid 50s. They're both in their 50s. Basically, a judge resentenced them to 50 years, which gives them immediate access to the parole board. So the only thing that comes next from here is getting in front of that board. Now, a lot of people think that means they get out immediately. They get out next week. They still have to go through the parole board process, which might take a couple of years. But it actually seems like they may see the light of day and not have to stay in prison. So you guys let me know what you think. We did this on the live stream. It was real interesting. So tap in with me. Tap in with me, gang. And let's go ahead and see what happened. All right, so let's just hear what happened. Apparently, they got resentenced to 50 years. Obviously, they would be immediately eligible for parole. That was the only highlight that I saw. So we're gonna see this actually pretty fresh together. I'm pretty sure a lot of y'all
has issued a ruling in the Menendez trial. He has issued 50 years to life. That means the brothers could be eligible for parole at some point, but they will not be released as of now. We, of course, have been following this case for many years, from initially when they first were charged with killing their parents, and then in recent years, as they seem to have a prosecutor who was somewhat in their favor, saying that they had done their time, that they should be released. There were multiple documentaries and series that played out, a lot of popularity in particular on Netflix, a lot of interest over the decades about these two brothers and the relationship that they had with their parents, ultimately causing them to kill their parents in their home in Los Angeles. We are going to go to...
And remember, this was a rich-ass family. The only reason I believe that this shit is true, that's why my whole stance on this is that something funky was happening for sure. Like all the touching and the daddy diddling and all that shit. You know why? Because they lived in LA and they had money. Them rich folks out here, I don't want to say all rich folks out here, but a lot of rich folks out here are on that freaky time. They're on that freak shit. Like, I'm telling you, I promise you. And that's because I worked in the food industry for years. And, you know, it was high end. So, you know, you get your little tips, you make your little money or whatever. But whenever you go to the not the dine out, but it's like a buyout. So it's like you work at the restaurant, but then the chef might get a buyout. And then he might, you know, call certain line workers like, okay, come with me. I fuck with you. We can make it work. So I did that a lot. You go to those houses when it gets late, shit gets freaky. I'm telling you. Shit.
Matt Gutman now, who's been following this case from the very beginning. Matt, quite a development here.
an incredible development.
Damn, they're so mature and like middle, like just old now. That's crazy. I mean, they look good. Honestly, these two look really good for prison. This is how you know they don't have a thing on their conscience. They're like, yep, and I would have done it again. But honestly, man, shit. I feel like, honestly, they have served their time at this point.
Development, Lindsay, especially given the headwinds that the brothers and their attorney, Mark Garagos, and the team has faced over the past 6 months from newly elected DA Nathan Hochman, who basically from
It's almost
the start
like,
said,
because remember, we can't go by a different standard. If like, remember Gypsy Rose? How much time did she spend? I mean, shit. Oh my God, I just love the speed of this damn fucking system, guys. Jeez. I need to get a new keyboard though, because I'm mistyping like crazy. I need to get a better keyboard. Gypsy Rose, time served. Gypsy Rose, blah, 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 served approximately 8 years to a 10-year sentence. Now, I think she was young. Hold on. Gypsy Rose age of crime, or age during crime. At 23, she and her then boyfriend, she was 23, faking to be old. Menendez brother, oh fuck, age at time of murder. Bro, they're even younger. Menendez, blah, 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 who was 18. His older brother opened fire on the parents with a 12-gauge shotgun, completely ripped their fucking faces off. Today, 35 years later, I'm deeply ashamed of who I was, said Lyle Menendez, who was 21 at the time of the murders. 21 and 18. 21 and 18. Gypsy Rose did that slaughterhouse bullshit when she was 23. So all I would say is I think they served their time. You're like, somebody said his daddy was touching them, but you can't murder your parents. Listen, I might disagree with you on that one. Shit, if my daddy was touching me and I had a shotgun, who knows? Anything could have happened.
he would consider this case. He had inherited it from George Gascon, his predecessor, who had recommended that resentencing, which you just mentioned, 50 years to life. Gascon didn't say back then they should be out now. He said they should get out. They should be given a chance to parole. And that's what the judge found today. But I just want to give you a sense.
Is that better as max volume?
Of what we just saw in court. There are no cameras in court. It's pad and paper only, so we can't even send emails to people. So we're watching this, we're sitting in court, and the pace is starting to pick up this afternoon, and it became evident about a couple of hours ago that they might be able to finish the proceedings today. It was supposed to be a 2-day hearing, and it wasn't clear if Mark Garagos, the defense attorney, would put Lyle and Eric Menendez on the stand, have them read a statement to the court, and he only did that after the judge agreed to resentence them. And so there was this big commotion in court as we were about to hear their statements, and they read statements for about 15 minutes each.
I want to hear the statements.
Incredibly powerful, essentially admitting,
let me rename this.
Every lie, taking full responsibility for the murder, saying they were unjustified, that they robbed their parents of their lives, that they feel permanent shame, that nothing is going to heal the wounds that they inflicted on, obviously, their parents, but also their family members and on themselves. And the repercussions of that are life-lasting. So they did exactly what DA Nathan Hochman has been asking for throughout, which is admitting to all of the things, to lying about being on the stand afterwards and concocting stories. And everything, the entire litany of what DA Nathan Hochman had asked them to do, they essentially did on the stand. And many of their family members were weeping. You could hear the sniffling in court. It was a very, very dramatic moment. The lawyers from both sides and the judge sat there rapt as they watched that video feed of those two men reading these statements for the first time. And it's really the first time we've heard them in court since their conviction in 1996. So it was a pretty momentous moment in the history of this extremely long case. I'm going to preempt the question you're going to ask next. What does this mean, 50 years to life? It means they get a chance to go before a parole board. But before they do that, they will have a hearing for clemency.
Oh, they're good. 54 and 57. They're chilling. And they're married? Sheesh. And they're married? Ooh, that's about to be crazy. I'm pretty sure they already have conjugal visits. Hold on, let me see who married them. I'm always suspicious about the women who be marrying the. Oh, and she doesn't look atrocious. I expected her to look like. That's crazy. They found love in jail. That's wild. They found in no, but listen, you always find love in jail. I feel like that's the number one place. Every time someone ends up going to jail, there's always, especially if you're not like a hideous looking person and you have charisma, and you could tell these boys got some charisma. You know what I'm saying? Shit, you could find love easily. There's a whole genre of men and women who specifically date people in prison. So, hey, shit, get it how you live, I guess.
13th, and then the governor, Gavin Newsom, at some point has the choice of what to do here. Now, the discretion of what happens to the Menendez brothers largely, Lindsay, rests with Governor Newsom. But pretty extraordinary couple of hours that we just witnessed in court. I wish everybody at home could have seen that, and that there were cameras in court. Alas, there were not.
She looks tougher
Yeah,
than
we
him.
appreciate you being
That's
our eyes and
crazy.
ears, and you are, in fact, a mind reader, because that is what I was going to ask you, is what happens next? We know that you're going to be following all along with us, as you have been on this case. Matt Gutman for us, just outside of the courtroom. Thank you so much, Matt.
So I guess cameras weren't allowed in the courtroom?
To life, which means they are technically eligible now for parole. But oh my gosh, the lead up to it was really, really powerful too, because you had both of the Menendez brothers speaking before the court. And at one point, Eric's feet actually died, but we'll get to that in just a second. Lyle spoke first. He was very emotional. He talked about feeling that he knew that it was not justified, the murders, that he took ownership and responsibility for it. I'm just going through my notes, which are very difficult to read here, but no excuses, no justification. The choice to not ask for help was my choice, he said. To point the gun, to reload the gun, he said, these are my choices.
To not ask for help. I guess when you have a lot of time, because I would have still been defending that, like, yeah, no, I couldn't do anything. But he did admit himself, like, he could have found help, I guess, you know? But at the same time, when you're terrified of your parents, I feel like that's just another level. I don't know, you know, that's just another level of psychological, like, you don't do regular things when you're scared of someone like that. You don't do rational shit. But he shouldn't have shot them with a fucking shotgun. He low-key kind of hated them too. It was kind of like a revenge killing, kind of.
I take responsibility. Now, it was interesting to hear him say that, because one of the primary, if not the primary, argument from the DA's office was that the brothers did not take responsibility for their crimes, but they did say over and over again, I did this. I am sorry. I know I robbed my parents of a full life. I know that this is my choice. Those are things, and during this time, Lyle was very emotional. The family could be heard crying. There was you know, people were wiping their noses. They were getting choked up. I could hear them. I was sitting about a row, not a row, like just a few feet over. I was sitting with them at one point when I first got into the courtroom. I was seated with them, and I realized very quickly.
And here comes Garagos.
There we go. Yeah,
so we're going to listen to what
Appreciate you,
Garagos has to
Rose.
say, their defense attorney.
Okay.
Poor Diane with the walker.
Poor Diane.
Poor Diane.
Well, you know what it sounds from listening to Tom Wade and Jasmine Veal there, according to what the brothers said on that videotape, they did admit to killing their parents, and they did talk about being remorseful, which is something that D.A. Hockman talked about. He didn't feel that they were remorseful. Let's listen to Garagos.
Couple of years.
I hate that there was no cameras, man. Put the it's 2025. Put the damn cameras in the damn courtroom. But anyways.
This month, actually, 2 years ago,
Like,
and
what are
I
you
don't
hiding?
know where Cliff went, but there he is. Hold on. Come here, Cliff. Come here.
Falling off a cliff.
Only when Cliff gets up here.
Hey guys.
Cliff Gardner. 2 years ago, Cliff and I were talking about another case, and he mentioned the Menendez brothers, and
Thank
it
you,
was a
Donna.
case that I
Welcome in.
obviously had followed.
Thank you for the 18 months, Donna. Congrats, AG. You have worked hard. Thank you so much.
And he said he had prepared and he was about to file a pro per, believe it or not, writ of habeas corpus. 2 years ago, I said, well, you know what, Cliff, we talked about it. We enjoy working together, now have an undefeated record.
Oh, wow.
Continue to have. And we decided, let's do it. I don't think he, who does nothing but post-conviction work, or me, who I hate doing post-conviction work, ever thought 2 years later we'd be standing here after 35 years with this wonderful family who I've grown to love like my own family. And now we see the pot at the end of the rainbow, so to speak, or their freedom.
Yeah, they're actually going to get out, bro. How about that, y'all? Because you know the parole board is going to let them out. Everybody on the planet knows about the Menendez brothers. So it's like either you're biased already or you're going to let them out. And I think everybody's pretty much, well, it's either you're biased either way. I don't think the parole board is going to like hear them out and decide and weigh out the consequence. No, they're just going to be like either, yeah, you're free because I always felt like that, or nah, I felt like you guys, didn't intentionally stay here. So I think they're guaranteed getting out with this type of verdict. It almost feels like the court system is just playing the right moves to just push them on out. Give them, just let them get on out, That Netflix series was crazy.
I want to do a hat tip to Judge Jessic, who was able to cancel out all the noise surrounding this, all of the grandstanding, all of the political back and forth. And he did what the code section said he should do. He did what justice said should happen. And he struck the special circumstance and he sentenced them to 50 to life, which means they're immediately eligible. For those who don't know, in a couple of weeks, there is already a clemency hearing set. There's also a response due in the habeas next month?
Yes.
Next month. And so all bets are still on. The resentencing has happened. I actually made a call. First call I made was to Leslie Abramson. I couldn't get a hold of Leslie. It went straight to voicemail. I have long admired Leslie. I think about her often in this courthouse, actually, because one of the last trials she did was in this courthouse. She did say something a number of years ago that no amount of TikTokers was going to ever change anything. And so I was calling to tease her. And so, Leslie, I will tell you, it's a whole different world we live in now. And one of the things that I think is important is to recognize that, like the legislature has done, we have evolved.
Even he has a disgust for TikTok. Listen, there's certain platforms where it's like, oh, you just don't understand it, man. You just don't understand it. It's just like, and I get it. I felt like that, like, about, I don't know. No, I pretty much gravitate to, okay, Snapchat I feel like is bullshit. But TikTok is honestly just brain rot, bro. I don't really like TikTok. I know they say you could structure it and have good channels, and I have seen some good channels, but I feel like majority of TikTok is just like,
This is not the 90s anymore. We have a more robust understanding of a lot of things. And I hat tip to the family, and I'll let them, after we answer a couple of questions, speak about what this means to them.
They have a cult
I just
following?
know that on a day
for
like
sure.
today, that redemption is possible.
Appreciate you, Mental.
And to those you saw X-rated talk today, you saw kind of the ridiculous nature of the cross-examination. You can turn anything on its head. The fact is, the Menendez brothers have done remarkable work, and today is a great day after 35 years.
Did you talk to Eric and Lyle really quick after this? What's the reaction?
I told them to call me on their burner phone.
hey, hold on now. They might actually have one. Shit, they've been in there for 30-some years. They probably have 3 of them. Put it in the old prison purse, the prison pouch. You know what I'm saying? Anyways.
You guys don't have to face the parole board instead of them walking free tonight. Is there a little story?
I argued and I still believe that they should be out.
You said they did AG like a week ago and they got in trouble. See, told you. I mean, come on, you've been in jail that long and you think you might never get out? Man, you might break a few rules. You might break a couple of them.
Out.
Who are you?
Whoa.
What's your name?
Mark Garrigus, how are you? Hi. So
people just want attention. Oh my God, people want attention so fucking bad, bro.
Still believe that they should be out.
Who are you? What's your name?
Mark.
People just want attention so fucking bad. Do you feel good now? Do you feel good about yourself? When you drive home in the car in traffic and you're at a red light and you think about this moment, do you feel good about yourself? Or do you want to drive off the edge of the road? Like, come on, like.
Be out.
Who are you? What's your name?
Mark Garrigus, how are you? Hi. So I understand what's happening. The governor would only have that ability constitutionally if the parole board does it. Right now, what is pending is, because it's 50 to life, they're immediately eligible. The first thing that is set is the clemency hearing, which is, I believe, on June 13th. So the clemency board, and this is something new, will make a recommendation to the governor, and then the governor will take action either before or after. So, yes, Jim.
People thought around Thanksgiving, you said, I want them to be home by then, and people said that's never going to happen. You said they will be resentenced. This is a huge victory for you and for the family, clearly. What do you think a realistic timeline is now to finally see freedom for brothers?
I've said ever since my failed prediction of Thanksgiving dinner that 2025 would be their year. I mean, they got caught, ironically, they've been caught in politics 30 years ago in a DA's race. They got caught in politics.
Because there's multiple times that they're supposed to have gotten out, right? And then something happened. And that's why I was like, every time I saw the headlines, Menendez brothers, blah, 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 blah. I was like, yeah, right. But actually seems like something might happen.
Politics now.
And honestly, you have to think, are they a danger to society? Are they a danger to the public? Will they rob an old lady? Will they kill somebody else? Will they, we all know the answer to that. So if they get released into society, no matter what you think about them, they're not going to kill nobody. In my opinion, I could be absolutely wrong. But I think the common understanding from everybody is that these guys were violent to the people who they killed. And those people are dead now. So everybody else in society should be okay. Type shit.
2024. And I'm hopeful now that Judge Jessic did what he was supposed to do. And I'm hopeful that now that the right thing will be done and they'll walk out. They've got a family, and I think the takeaway for me today was that the family, their trauma has become kind of the subject of prurient interest. But they are a real family, real people who have lived through unimaginable horrors. And I'm hopeful and glad that we're one huge step closer to bringing the boys home. Thanks. Yes.
Are you concerned about it because it's getting held up on an appeal? If the DA's office files an appeal?
No, I'm not concerned with that. I think at this point, the record is such that the code section calls for this. This was from my mind, this was the minimum that they should get. It also, somebody mentioned this to me in the courtroom just now. This is a decision that I think will reverberate in the criminal justice system. One of the things,
and they weren't even violent. Like, you could imagine they went to jail and like they were out here causing fights and shit. Hold on, before I talk out my ass.
In an extraordinary move, the Menendez brothers calling into a podcast, TMZ's Two Angry Men podcast with Harvey Levin and Mark Geragos, their defense attorney. Eric Menendez describing the terror behind bars.
I faced a lot of bullying and
What? We have Menendez calls?
trauma. There was...
What? Okay, I'm kind of going down a rabbit hole. Nah. Okay. I'm not going to go too far in the rabbit hole.
It was a dangerous environment.
What happened to you?
I was picked on, bullied violently, and it was traumatic, and it was continual. And, you know, there's the things that a lot of inmates in prison go through and when they're not part of a gang structure.
And Eric says he didn't fight back.
I'm not going to fight back. I'm not going to, engage. And I had no one to really to turn to for help.
The brothers served 21 years of their sentence in separate prisons. Eric describing how he felt when...
Oh, I didn't think they were... Wow, that's fucked. You can't even serve your time with your brother.
He says he learned his brother Lyle had been violently attacked.
I was told Lyle just got assaulted and got his jaw broken, and it was... I'm thinking, he's over there, I'm going through this over here, and at least we could protect each other maybe if we were together.
Next month, the brothers face a critical hearing when a judge will decide whether they should be resentenced for the gruesome murders of their parents, Kitty and Jose. The 2024 Netflix series shining a spotlight on their case and the alleged sex abuse by their father.
This is done. This is done.
Honestly, I can't say it for sure, but it sounds like fuck Kitty and Jose. That's what it seems like. Maybe they were great people and this whole story's flipped upside down. I can't say it confidently, but it seems like fuck Kitty and Jose. Honestly.
And that was Matt Gutman reporting for us. Of the three legal avenues for their release, resentencing remains the most likely. LA County District Attorney Nathan Hochman tells ABC News that his team continues to examine the case, and so far they've not made a decision.
All right, appreciate you, big dog. Let's get back to the press conference.
That we have argued all along, and what the judge said today. The judge commented today. This is one of the most remarkable, and he used that term, remarkable transformations. And he said, while the crime was truly horrific and remarkable, the 35 years since, what they have accomplished is remarkable, with no hope. And we've said that since day one. And so with no hope, this encourages people who are incarcerated to make the right decisions, to take the right path. So it's just a win-win on so many levels. And I will let the family talk. I could not. Yes.
Mark.
I have not talked yet to Joan, but I'm hoping. I'll let the family say that. I'll let the family say that.
I need to smoke a cigarette. Mark, you have a...
He said, "You have a lighter? I need to smoke a cigarette." Who is trolling, bruh?
I'll let the family say that. I'll let the family say
have a
that.
lighter? I need to smoke a cigarette.
I want to see this guy's face.
Mark, you have a fucking lighter.
Hi, everyone.
Mark,
This is a good day.
It's Mr. Hochman's PR person.
Mark.
No, can you do me a favor? No, I don't have a lighter. He does right there.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. You tell Mr. Hochman does. He's right over there. He's hiding in the bushes.
We have a lot.
No, the second joke didn't land. I see what you did there, but I see what you did there. You tried it, but it didn't land the second time.
A lot of thank yous today from the family. Mark Geragos, Cliff Gardner.
You're going to call me in 3 minutes?
Thank you so much. You have brought hope to this family that we didn't see coming.
If you splash water on somebody, is that considered assault? Like, if you're like, shut the fuck up, and you just splash some water on them, is that assault? Probably, right? Probably. Never mind. Yeah, it's probably assault.
You know, we would be remiss if I didn't thank Alexandra Kazarian, my partner, who's here.
Do that shit right in front of the courthouse.
Here behind me. If I didn't thank Milena Blake and Mike Romano, there's Milena back there. I apologize for Milena. It's got to be tough to sit at the council table and have me there kind of bulldoze my way through. So I said I thank X-Rated for having to subject himself to that brutality, but most of all for the family. I just couldn't be happier for you guys.
But no, shout out whatever happens, to be honest. I think they're going to get out. I mean, it's, you know, I mean, what are they supposed to stand there forever for, like, killing somebody who was, like, diddling on them?